late, but we can't forgive him for getting up late.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So, you know, he's off and running, he's played 2, he's won 1, he's going to feel better about his game. It's never easy beating the likes of Niels Feyen, of course. Everyone's difficult, but he's super difficult. He never gives you anything, and he's off and running. During the break, I did ask Michael my own trivia question. Obviously, he asked me, but I didn't want to stitch him up too bad. And the question was, could he name the only French player to play in the Mosconi Cup?
Yeah, and I was thinking about it, and, you know, I'm going to tell you the truth here. I haven't actually checked this with Carl, that I'm right. But I think his name was Vincent Fake.
Yep, I didn't think you'd get that, so you've done well there, pal. It was Vincent Fake.
Do we have any idea what year it was? We're not entirely sure about that one. I think it was a while ago now.
Yeah, it's got to be in the... It's definitely near the beginning of the Cup, that's for sure.
Well, your phone's been pinging away all week, so someone will probably text and tell us in a moment.
Maybe even Vincent. Maybe Vincent's tuning in.
Now, that would be something, wouldn't it? That would literally prove that everyone in the pool world is watching us. It was funny last week. It seemed everyone we mentioned in commentary, within about 5 minutes, they texted one of us. Eklent Kaci then, making a nice start to this one. And he was all over the place against Chris Melling earlier. I saw him in the players' room afterwards. He didn't seem to be put off the task by it. He seemed hopeful enough that his day would improve. He's got a win under his belt now, and it looks like he's going to get off to a good start here. Bit of a humdinger on the other table. David Al-Qaedi now leading Albin Ocean by 3 racks to 2. Ocean has been so good so far today, but if there was one man you were going to back to stop him in his tracks, it probably would have been Al-Qaedi. And he's now 2 away from handing the Austrian his first defeat.
Yeah, and if David does go on to win that match, the group really throws up in the air, because a lot of the guys they'll be on 2 out of 3 wins, like to Chris, Albin will be, David will be. If Catchy wins this match, he will be. So things are getting interesting, just as we expect. And this 9-ball, this will get Catchy's match underway. And there it is. He's 1-0 up.
Yeah, and he looked a lot better there. So Eklent Kaci continuing the general upward curve of his day. He leads Marc Bijsterbosch by 1 rack to 0. And Catchy won't even be finished for the afternoon after this one, because pretty soon after it finishes, he'll be moving over to table 2 to play Naoki Oi. Good thing from his point of view is he then only has 2 matches in the evening session. Some players have 3. So he'll be nice and fresh if he gets to the semis, but I suspect he'd be fresh enough. Whatever the circumstances, only 22.
Well, usually the players wake up 3 or 4 hours before they're due to play. They have a bit of breakfast, they hit the practice table. Catchy's probably just waking up about now, because he woke up at 5 to 12. I think it's a good time to give a shout out to the referees. There's Viv Rusko. She's, you know, there's 3 referees here. They've been all here all week. They're racking the balls. They're swapping over tables and all this. They're on the feet all day, Michael.
Yeah, well, that's the big difference. I mean, we're sitting down. We're doing as many matches as they are, but they are literally standing up the whole time. And even the players, they're walking around the table, but they get to sit down when their opponent is in play. And the concentration you need to have, I mean, you really don't want to let it drop for a moment.
Tremendous break from Bijsterbosch there. Crunches it. But the pool gods were not on your side, buddy.
After my Vincent Fake triumph, I'm going to hand it back to you now, Carl, because I now know what year he played. So have a go. It was only once.
And I haven't looked at any messages that have come through.
We wouldn't get involved in any of that kind of carry on.
I'm going to say 1990. Am I on the right tracks, by the way?
Yeah, you've got the right decade, Carl.
Right,
you know, I mean, come on.
1997.
Oh, 1 year out.
Ugh.
It was 1996.
Sorry, Vincent, you're older than I thought you was. So, Mark plays a push out, and it's a tempter. He's basically saying, I don't believe you can pot this ball, Catchy. I've often liked that type of push out, to be fair. It's not really something you ever see. It's a bit like, you know, the great Phil Taylor used to win the bullseye in the practice room before they go on stage, and he used to say, you can throw first, pal, go on.
Yeah, it's like the psychology of match play golf as well, where, you know, you give your opponent a 4-footer, a little tester on the opening hole, but then on the second, he's got a 4-footer again, and you say to him, yeah, I want to see that one in, and then he starts thinking, oh, why is he asking me to do that? He didn't ask me to do that on the first. So I love the little bits of psychology like that. I'm never one to condone cheating or anything, but I'm all for a little bit of psychology if it's all within the rules, and you get that a lot with the push-out. It's one of the most fascinating aspects of this game.
Yeah, and of course in this event there's a break after every 3 racks, but in, let's say, a regular pool tournament in the early stages, you can take a timeout when you want, and guaranteed if you've missed an easy ball and they steal the rack from you, they go timeout, and they just give you that 5 more minutes to think about your mistake. That's a classic move. And with you though, Michael, I love all that type of stuff as well. As long as you're not, you know, cheating and breaking the rules, it's all good. So Mark just needs to make sure he hits the 2 ball. That goes without saying. If he hits it full, he could bank it into the opposite middle, and he could even pop the purple 5. Just like so, but he's not having many friends at this pool table at the minute, and all day, of course, he's on no wins from, well, this is his 3rd match.
Yeah, Bijsterbosch needs to find the wins, because it wouldn't be so bad if he'd lost a couple of hills in his first 2 matches, but the fact that they were both 5-2 means not only is he struggling in the wins column, he's struggling in the rack wins column as well.
Well, Niels Feijen early on in the week said on command he can break and send the cue ball 30 feet in the air, and there we see the cue ball was bouncing around the table.
It's like a tap dancing masterclass, that.
But unfortunately, he's left Catchy in, and that is the main thing. Yeah, he's just looking to see if that sneaks in, and well, it's very tight, so if it doesn't, it looks like he's not got a bad angle to pop the blue 2 in the centre and try and spin the cue ball round off 2 rails. Of course, whatever shot he plays will tell a story.
The story on the other table is that David O'Cady is now 4-2 up against Albin Ocean.
Yeah, so he has played to landing behind the 3, and if it is tight, whenever it's tight past another ball, you always want to be straight on it and right behind it. It makes the shot so much easier because you can see right through the line of the shot. And there you get a good view of our referee that we were speaking about, Viv Wingball Roscoe. So this is tight. Well, it flew in, so that's okay. Yeah, David Alcade 4-2 up against Albin. That's a big win, that, Michael, if he can go on and steal that match, because that really throws the group up in the air. Because Albin Ocean is the only player who's not lost a match yet.
Yeah, they would both be on 2 wins out of 3. if O'Cady sees it out from there. Ocean at the table though in the next rack. He's got a shot at the one. So Eklent Kaci continuing the general theme of improvement here. All over the place in his first match, better in his second, and starting to play quite nicely now in his third.
Needs the cue ball to roll on a little bit. We've already seen him miss a 9 like this in the first match. It was in the opposite pocket, but he's got to be feeling a little bit better about this one.
Seen a few of these missed this week.
Yeah, it's one of them on the TV screen where it looks unmissable, but when you're behind it, you're that angry that you've left it on the 50-yard line. You can often hack at it.
Right in the heart of the pocket, though, from Eklent Kaci, the man from Albania, leads Dutchman Marc Bijsterbosch by 2 racks to 0. Yeah, and Bijsterbosch might be starting to feel that the day is slipping away from him a bit. It's a big day for him. He's probably the least prominent player in the winners group. He's delighted to be in this company, but it's not going to plan at all so far. Alban Ocean, on the other hand, is doing very nicely. And he's still not out of contention for a 3rd straight win, because it looks as though he's going to close the 4-3 down against the 2-time World Masters champion, David O'Cady, who finally gets to defend that title in just a few weeks from now in Gibraltar.
Yeah, the World Pool Masters, one of the biggest events on the pool calendar, and that's part of a long list of events now of the Matchroom Pool Series.
Well, consider as recently as 2018 there were 3 Matchroom events in the year. Now there are 6. And Alban Ocean still hanging on there, back to only 4-3 down against David O'Cady. And even if he loses, well, his situation in terms of racks won and lost is still going to be pretty good coming out of that one, so nothing to be too concerned about, but I'm sure he'd still like to get the W.
Yeah, so Michael, since we're having trivia day, you've asked me 2 questions.
Yeah.
I've asked you 1, so I think it's only fair I ask you another. You asked me the year.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's come back to that in the break, because this is a big one here. I'm not trying to dodge it, by the way. We will get to it in a moment.
You are trying to dodge it, so I'm just going to ask you, because you should get this one, actually. Okay. It's an easy one.
There's nothing more worrying than someone saying you should get this one.
Who was Ireland's only Mosconi Cup player?
Ah, I do know this.
Oh.
Yeah. He used to actually have his own column, I think, in one of the Q Sports magazines many years ago. And he was a bit before my time actually being involved. So, although I remember him, I'm not entirely sure that he was 100% Irish, as it were. I think he may have been born in England. I could be completely wrong about that. But anyway, his name was Tommy Donlan. Yeah,
and he's got the flag next to his name on Wikipedia, so...
He does, but...
That's it.
Yeah, but so does Andy Townsend, and, you know, I'm not questioning his eligibility for Ireland or anything like that, but he was born and grew up in England, and that's all I'm saying. I think Tommy Donlan may have not been native Irish, as it were, but...
Well, you got it right, that's the main thing.
Yeah, that's all that really matters, yeah.
Tommy Donlan, I can't remember his nickname actually now, but he was a bit before my time. He was still kind of playing when I come onto the scene, but I don't think he was playing at his best. You know, I wouldn't have seen his best game, but I know he was very talented and very good player to watch was Tommy. I always enjoyed watching because he got on with it and he played like a very attacking game of pool, and that's the sort of pool, you know, the fans like to watch. So if you're watching Tommy, I hope you're doing well. Hope life's treating you good, and maybe get your cue back out.
Wasn't he primarily an 8-ball player?
Yeah, I think he was, like pretty much everyone from England. I think we all dabble at all pub games.
Ah, so he was from England then.
Well, he lived here.
Yeah. There was a tournament used to be on television in the 1980s called the Border Classic, And I don't think it was shown in every TV region. But that was an 8-ball event. And I think I may have seen him play on TV in that, because it was shown in the Ulster region. So I watched a bit of that. Anyway, back in the present day, Eklent Kaci, who is definitely not from anywhere near either Ireland or England, could be motoring to a 3-0 lead here.
Yeah, and Bijsterbosch, he's having a bit of a nightmare day today. Of course, he qualified late last night, and if he does go on to lose this match, still early days, of course, you would think he's going to have to win his last 3 matches, wouldn't you, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, we keep saying it, you've got to try and get 3 wins. But also, if you do get 3, more likely than not, it'll then come back to a count back of racks. So if you're getting heavy defeats, then you may be leaving yourself a bit too much to do.
Yeah, and just as we predicted, Catchy's just kind of playing his way into this group nicely, isn't he? You just get the feeling of it. And over on table 2, big rack coming up. It's about to go 4-4, and David Alcade, he's 1 from 2, so big moments.
Yeah, and I think Alban Ocean, who's 2 from 2, has the break in the last rack. Was 4-2 down. But it's all one-way traffic here. Eklent Kaci feeling his way into the day, starting to play nicely in this winners group now. He leads Marc Bijsterbosch 3-0.
This championship is being played with the new Aramith tournament set. Featuring a unique molecular structure, it guarantees razor-sharp precision and unsurpassed longevity. Unquestionably the best pool balls in the world, this set is available in a TV and a value pack version, as well as in the new My Aramith range of ball and cue cases. Now you can bring and play with the best ball set everywhere you go. My Aramith, bringing new dimensions to your billiards experience.
And welcome back to the winners group of the Predator Championship League, where Eklent Kaci is really stepping things up here. Lost his opening match, but he won his second, and he's playing very well now against Marc Bijsterbosch. He leads 3-0. The Dutchman has the break in rack 4.
Over on table 2, Albin Ocean just plays a loose safety shot with the rest and, well, kind of throws it down on the floor. Mr. John Lehman gives him, not so sure if it's a warning, but it was a word in his ear.
He did get a warning in one of the matches the other night, and John was refereeing that one as well. I was a little surprised he didn't get another one the next day, actually, because he was probably more in line for one then. So David Al-Kaidi may be about to end Albin Ocean's winning start. Not the easiest of shots, though, on the 2. A couple of things came to light there during the break. It was Disher Donlan. Someone came in and told us, Tommy Disher Donlan. And also, of course, just to clarify, he was the only player representing the Republic of Ireland. As you pointed out, Alex Higgins of Northern Ireland played in the Moscone as well. And a lot of the snooker players were involved in it in the early days. At least 3 world snooker champions have played in it. Steve Davis and Ronnie O'Sullivan. Jimmy White, who was never world champion, also played in it. And as we were talking about all that, Marc Bijsterbosch's day has just got a little bit worse, but he's had something of a result there.
Yeah, if there's any consolation, it's the fact that he's hooked Eklent Kaci, but what a miss that was. I mean, yeah, it's a funny old game. You've got to focus on every shot. He's got a knack of, you know, coming back to bite you this game. Over on table 2, David Al-Kaidi is at the table. He has got 4 balls sitting very nicely, and that's a big win over there. That's going to make this group change the dynamic a little bit, because Albin Ocean is unbeaten so far. Catchy kicks the 2 in, wasn't shocked to see that disappear, and now he's got a good chance.
Yeah, I think last night was by far the most dramatic finish we've had to the round robin section, because we had 2 matches going on different tables at the same time, and they both related to each other, and different players were looking for different things, either a win or a certain number of racks to get through. And it was the first time it's really come down to a climax like that. I think everything so far today suggests we'll have a similar story this evening. And David Al-Kaidi has a simple 9-ball on the other table, so he has beaten Albin Ocean by 5 racks to 4. 2 wins out of 3 for Al-Kaidi, and for Ocean as well. Al-Kaidi straight back on to play Niels Fye. Ocean now finished until this evening's play.
Yeah, you're definitely getting the feeling this is going to go right down to the wire. I think there's going to be some crazy drama before we know who the 4 are in the semi-finals. So this simple 8-ball up the rail for Albania's Eklent Kaci, and this 9-ball looks good.
Yeah, some people say he doesn't spend enough time on the practice table. It must feel a bit like a practice session here. Eklent Kaci totally dominant, and he leads Marc Bijsterbosch now 4-0. He's on the hill, and he'll be breaking in the next rack. Now this is what's coming up tomorrow. It's going to be Group 7 of the Championship League Snooker, a much longer established event going back to 2008, and this is the last chance to get into the winners group. Got Yan Bingtao there, Dave Gilbert, Kurt Mafflin, who we were talking about earlier, a couple of world champions of the past, Neil Robertson and Mark Williams, Anthony McGill as well, and Joe Perry, and that'll all be starting up tomorrow at 12:30. And in Championship League Snooker, the groups are played over 2 days, so that'll be Tuesday and Wednesday, and then the winners group on Thursday and Friday. And that, of course, is the last snooker event before the biggest of the lot, the World Championship at the Crucible, which is now just a few weeks away. Ronnie O'Sullivan will be defending his title there and looking to equal Stephen Hendry's record of 7. Hendry, of course, back playing in it this year, albeit he's got to win 4 qualifying matches to get through. And the first of those, incredibly, is against the man he beat in 4 of his 7 winning finals, Jimmy White. That is a week today. But Championship League snooker from tomorrow through to Friday. Eklent Kaci is a useful snooker player. He's even better at pool, and he's showing it here. He leads 4-0, and he's breaking for the match.
Yeah, and I'm sure Eklent Kaci's younger brother is watching, 14 years of age, and Eklent was telling me at breakfast one morning that he's a very tasty snooker player. He said he practices every day, he makes 100 breaks, 14 years of age, so Catchy was telling me that he used to beat him all the time, but now he can't beat his baby brother, so maybe his brother may be on the World Snooker Tour one day, so that's something to look forward to, Michael.
Yeah, well, he has tipped his brother to actually make it onto the World Snooker Tour. So, in a sense, you have to be one of the top 128 players in the world to do that. I've seen 1 or 2 players coming through from Eastern Europe now. Yulian Boyko from Ukraine is the youngest player on the tour. So Bijsterbosch does get back to the table here, but it looks a big ask now. At the very least, he's got to try and get a couple of racks.
Yeah, so Catchy's playing the jump shot, trying to pop the yellow 1 ball in the top right. Next match on table 2, the Terminator, Niels Fayen. He needs a win over there. He's 1 from 3. He's playing David Al-Qaeda. Well, that is unforgivable. I'm not saying he should pot the ball, but he should certainly be jumping over the pink. So, ball in hand for Marc.
Yeah, got back to the table, but only to decide to hand it back over. And this is the sort of chance you want when you're 4-0 down.
Yeah, the mindset Marc needs now is, you know, he's going to be ball watching, and what that means is when his opponent is breaking, he's kind of just hoping he doesn't get an easy layout, and of course he needs chances. So, but the group is very much still alive, isn't it? There's only really Marc who's, you know, not got a win on the board.
Oh, listen, never mind, still alive. Much like Eklent Kaci, it's only just waking up. Apart from Bijsterbosch, it's any 4 from 6, really. And even Bijsterbosch isn't entirely out of it by any means. And things looking a bit better now. Back to 4-1 down if he pots these 2. And he'll have the break in the next rack.
So this 9 ball, and Marc Bijsterbosch will be off and running in this match. He gets his first rack on the board. Up next on table 1, it is England's Chris Melling. Marc will stay on.
And Melling will see that as a big match for him, you know, because he's won 2 of his first 3. He's been heavily beaten by Ocean. But that's okay, because if he wins his last of the afternoon, goes into the evening session on 3 wins out of 4, should really get through to the semi-finals, and he's going to fancy that as a match he can definitely win, given that Bijsterbosch is struggling a bit. As we said, probably the least big name, as it were. He is well established, of course, had a great World Cup with the Netherlands, and he's won some smaller events, decent-sized events, actually. But probably the other 6 players would be better known than him, and it's showing so far today. But as I say, still in this one. All he can do now is try to win the next rack on his own break and hope Catchy gives him something in the 7th.
Yeah, and what can often happen is the likes of, you know, Marc or the younger generation coming through where they've not quite achieved what the greats have. Because he only qualified late last night, he's probably not had enough time to take it all in. So he's back at the table today, probably still, you know, happy he's made the final group, and before you know it, you find yourself in this position. that's not bad. The one ball staying over the pocket has it's been a kind friend to Marc there. Because he lost the cue ball, they see it spinning down towards this corner.
Okay, so a good chance for Bijsterbosch, and if he can make it count, then suddenly there's a bit of pressure on Catchy with his break in the next rack, because he knows if he doesn't make it count, then good chance for Bijsterbosch to ultimately get back to Hill. A lot of ifs and buts there, though. Bijsterbosch has to take care of this rack first.
Yeah, and that's not his best shot. Now he's going to have to play a 2-on-7 combo.
Just feels like he's battling himself and his own confidence at the moment, just a little. We saw the shoulder slump once or twice earlier in this match.
Nice recovery though there from the beast from the east, as his friends call him back home.
So that's because he's from the east of the Netherlands, or is it just because east rhymes with beast?
I do believe he's from the east side of Holland.
He's from Eindhoven. I've got to admit, I'm not sure whether that's on the east or the west.
He's got a tricky shot now though. He's lost the cue ball. Yeah, and there you can see he's nappy with that. So this is a thin one. He's going to lose the cue ball. Can he avoid the scratch? He just avoided the scratch, but he's clipped the 4, so still not out of the water yet.
Yeah, all I've been able to find out is that Eindhoven is in the south, so I don't know whether it's the southeast or southwest. Anyway, that's where Marc Bijsterbosch is from. And he's still hanging on here. Oh, did he go for the combination on the 9?
Yeah, I think he was just kind of trying to pot it, and it's all going wrong on finals day. Does the 4 ball pass the 8? If not, it's a pretty easy safety. He's looking at playing a billiard. That's where you hit the ball you're on first, and the white knocks another ball in. So this is a very attacking shot if he plays the billiard, because the safety shot is pretty much guaranteed. Yeah, lovely billiard there from Catchy, so looks pretty good here now to take his, well, it's his second win of the day, Michael.
Yeah, and you look at it now, if he closes it out here, it's 2 5-1 wins in a row, so 2 wins out of 3, and a couple of comfortable wins like that, given that his one defeat was only 5-3. That won't do him any harm in the Racks Countback Stakes if it comes to that, but if he keeps playing like this, it won't. He'll get through on match wins alone. And David O'Cady may do the same. He's looking good to take the opener against Niels Feijen, having just beaten Alban Ocean. So it's a struggle for Marc Bijsterbosch now. It looks as though after 3 matches he's still not going to have a win, and he'll only have 5 racks to his name. Eklent Kaci wasn't that impressive actually in beating Niels Feijen 5-1. He has been here. He's seen off Marc Bijsterbosch by the same score. Catchy stepping things up on the final day. Bijsterbosch stays on to play Chris Melling. That's next.